The Parks and Recreation continue to find new and creative ways to work in cooperation with other township departments and community sponsors and volunteers. And furthermore, they purchase new equipment that helps to get these jobs done in a very quick and speedy manner. Let's look at what the accomplishments for this past year. Up and down the Bunny Trail, annual 4th of July display, annual Hanover Township Day celebration, which we're going to have, 9th annual Hanover Golf, 5K race, Santa Claus coming to town, Hanukkah celebration, continuation of, continuation of ongoing programs with Wiggles and Giggles and Kids on the Go, arts and basketball, wrestling, lacrosse, bowling, tennis, yoga, karate, adult co-ed volleyball, adult co-ed soccer, men's basketball, middle school ski programs, and Zumba. Purchase of 2 new baskets for our rapidly expanding basketball programs. Continue to run our spring break program for children. Trip to Radio City Music Hall, Christmas show in New York Botanical Gardens. Annual fishing contest at both Mountain Parties and B Meadow. Family bingo events. Work with clean community coordinators to purchase recycling, trash receptacles for the parks. Work with clean community coordination to park cleanup by volunteer organizations and many other groups. Allow me to give my conclusion because I think I've gone a little beyond my 4 minutes.
I told you you would have all the time you needed.
First of all, at the last time we spoke here, we had folks who commented. Mr. Herbert commented that our fields are the best. They look great and are an asset to the township. Mr. Corley commented that in the past, they have prepared 30 games in 27 days at Black Brook alone. Mr. Baccio commented how Randolph loves our fields. Mr. Faramaska commented how Rec was able to do more with less. He also felt that we should clarify roles and responsibilities, and he noted the functions were specialized and processes are important, and how we could work smarter instead of harder. Mr. Cirillo commented that they have a good working relationship between both departments. They continue to have self-evaluation to improve their processes. Now, as far as I'm concerned, from all I've noted in 209 and I've known in 210, and my experience on parks and recreation, as a recreation commission, I see no valid reason for creating one used department rather than continuing the separate department as they currently exist today. And if it means greater coordination, greater activities, and greater area of working together, then so be it. What's the big deal? All right? I mean, just because, making it all one group, I can tell you, folks, priorities are going to take place. Somebody's going to suffer. And if you go to some of these fields that I've been at that have this kind of activity, you will see where it suffers. The statement, as noted on one of the documents at our 2000 meeting, to me, it says cross-train the employees of DPW to learn the tasks and duties performed by our parks and maintenance workers can only learn to improving our facilities to even greater extent, in spite of the fact we have been complimented by the public and other towns for having such superb parks and recreation facilities. It's like an oxymoron. I mean, precious, we know they're great, so, where are we gaining anything? Parks and Recreation has always enjoyed working relationship with other departments and have even shared personnel when called upon. If there is a perceived problem, then deal with the problem and not create a bigger problem. That's always been my firm philosophy. If there's an issue, deal with the issue. Don't compound the problem by making it a bigger problem. All right? They continue to find ways to improve both departments by cross-training and sharing of personnel. And lastly, I think we avoid what I see as a serious morale problem. Serious morale problem if we make the change. I've spent the time on that recreation staff. I've seen what they've done. I've seen the many programs I've been very proud of as being a member of that Recreation Commission. And I see them now, the chairman here this evening, and folks from the Little League and the different leagues. You all tell me that those fields and parks are a problem. You tell me that. And then we'll say, okay, I might agree with you. But no one can tell me those fields. At an instant, these folks turn everything around and do a great job. combining them is not going to make it better. It's going to make it worse. That's it. I'm done.
Mr. Capolo, thank you. A couple of questions. Your thesis seems to allude to the fact that by combining the labor forces, that the quality of service that is going to be rendered will decline. And you used the example of Denville and Lurker Park in East Hanover. And I guess the question I have is, do you not have the confidence in our employees and our staff that they would go out and continue to do a good job and have pride in their work as they're assigned to these different tasks?
Hey, that's a good question. I like that.
Well, do you have the answer to that? Because your whole thesis tends to
No,
say
my
that
whole-
these fine employees suddenly are going to lay down on the job because they're now in a combined labor force.
Mr. Mayor,
Can I answer
don't,
that?
no, I will answer it. Don't twist it around, okay? I know what you're trying to do. The fact of the matter is that priorities take place. I'm sure that, given the fact that, you know, if you have a set of roles and responsibility, and you have a set of roles and responsibilities, you work those roles at your most diligent effort, and you work your roles you combine them, and all of a sudden it becomes a priority, because I hear we have staff members that are a problem, and that we don't have enough staff in certain areas, although things have been functioning, that there is a tendency for things to slack and not have the dedicated effort that is currently in what we currently do today. So no, I have a confidence in our people, but I just think that certain times priorities will take its place, and I've seen it in centralizing operations. I've seen it happen time and time again, to the point where folks says it doesn't work, they decentralize and they go back. The fact of the matter is, it's not a dollar savings at all to it, and the fact of the matter is, the services will to me, as far as I'm concerned, could ultimately be suffering from doing that. If I take one example from Lurker Park, and I look at Denville as another example.
Can I?
I need a follow-up here. I'm sorry, Mr. Iradi.
Okay.
If you feel the confidence in our employees that they will continue the fine level of service that they've been performing, and if you presuppose that that level is going to be maintained, maybe it will slack, well, then doesn't that lead us to a lack of confidence that you have in the management to keep that level of service at a peak level? And so, I mean, you can't have it both ways.
I don't have.
You can't tell me that these fine people are going to slack off.
Okay,
And then at
first
the
of all-
same time tell me that because centralization is going to create that slacking, and ignore the management contingent that happens to run the staff. It's just contradictory.
Well, first off, George is not saying anything about the employees. As a matter of fact, our fine staff, our fine DPW staff, and our fine recreation staff seems that somebody thinks they have a little slack time on their hands. So that when there's a peak season in DPW, maybe the recreation guys are slacking off and they could fill that. Or vice versa, if, you know, in the cutting of the lawn seasons, maybe you got some DPW guys who are slacking off. That's what the combination is all about. I have confidence in the staff. I have never seen slackers. And what George probably is trying to say is that if you combine the two, and it falls under the guise, we'll say, of the DPW, the person who probably will be the head of that department is way more familiar with the tasks that DPW does. So if recreation people were under the DPW department manager, and he had a pothole to be fixed, and the recreation had a field that needed restriping, the department head might consider more of a priority the pothole to be fixed. That is what George is saying.